So in this video, I want to talk about the 5 key stretches that I think you need to be doing when at your workstation, whether it's at home or in the office, in order to give you both short-term and long-term comfort during your working day. Before we dive into the content of this video, if you do like this content and if you think it's a help to you, then make sure you hit that like button because that will help you to help others. That's how the YouTube algorithm works. It will show the video to more people. So if it's been helpful to you, make sure you hit that like button. And whilst you're there, make sure you subscribe because then I'll be able to update you anytime we release a new video. So the workstation, before we dive into talking about the key components or the 5 most important stretches that you need to be doing at your workstation, a couple of things that I want to mention. First of all, the thing we need to understand is most of our pain and injuries don't happen instantly when we sit to do our work. So if we are sitting incorrectly, it's not something that we're aware of straight away. So it's vital that you're putting these things in place during your working day in order to enhance your long-term comfort and reduce the overall risk of injury. Now, at the end of this video, I'm going to link to a video where I talk about setting up your own workstation, whether that's at home or in the office, with some of the key things that you can put in place to make sure that your posture is going to be in the best possible position. So hang around to the end of the video where I'll make that available for you to watch so that you can implement those points straight away. And the other thing that I want to mention, that stretching is obviously important, but there is no substitute for movement. So before we dive into these stretches, the key thing that I want you to cover throughout your working day is trying to increase the amount of movement, increase the amount of getting up from a chair and walking around and giving your muscles something to think about that you can do throughout your working day. But that's enough chat. Let's talk about the 5 key areas that I think you need to address. And firstly, we're going to start at the top. The first one we're going to talk about is our neck and shoulders, what we term the upper trap muscles. Now, I find here that I often describe this as the tightest muscle in the human body. Most people that we see in our clinics suffer with pain or discomfort in this area. It's an incredibly tight muscle in the body. And now, at that video at the end, we'll talk about why this often happens if you're sitting too low, but it's an area that we need to stretch. So here I'm showing you a stretch that I think you should be implementing daily, and you want to be holding this stretch for 30 seconds. We hold the shoulder down, we take the head off to one side to really feel that stretch through the upper neck area. Secondly, the next area we want to stretch moving down our body is our chest area. I talk about us living in a flexion addicted society. We're constantly being hunched over and forward and having these rounded shoulders, and that leaves us feeling very tight through the chest. So you know the old phrase of, back straight, shoulders back. That is really to open up that stretch. So throughout your working day, make sure you are opening up that chest area with these sort of chest stretches where we're looking to hold on to something like a wall or a door frame and rotate the chest away. Hold that stretch for about 30 seconds, and you can do this stretch with both a straight arm, and you can also look to repeat this stretch with the bent arm because we have 2 predominant chest muscles in there, and by doing the straight arm and the bent arm varieties, we're getting the best stretch and stretching the whole area as a complex. Next, we want to work our way down and be stretching out our forearm muscles. Now, particularly when we're doing lots of inputting tasks like keyboard work or mouse work, what we tend to find here is that we get very tight, sore in the area. So what we want to be doing here is making sure we're stretching out. So again, throughout the day for your 30-second hold, you just want to hold that arm straight out in front of you. And we want to take the wrist into 2 different positions. So you can start by having your arm straight out in front of you, your palm facing downwards. Then what we look to do is flex that wrist into that direction. So pull our fingers down towards the floor. And then what we do is we turn our arm so that our arm is palm up. And again, what we're looking to do here is to be pulling the fingers down towards the floor. And you should feel that that's stretching both parts of your forearm. And you'll notice if you've been doing a lot of keyboard or inputting work that these muscles might feel tight. So a really important one that we're stretching out. Now, Fourth, we're going to work our way down the body now, and we're going to work into our lower limb area. I'm sure plenty of you have suffered with some backache coming towards the end of the working day. Very, very common. And I have this phrase that the glute hurts, but it's the butt's fault. Our glute area is often a very common problem, and our glutes are our most powerful muscle in the body. That's fantastic. They're designed to be moving us about and doing lots of activities. But when we then just sit on those glutes, that goes against their purpose. And as a result, they're underused and can develop dysfunction as a result. So it's really nice to be stretching out throughout the working day. Now you can do this in a standing position. Here I am demonstrating what we call the figure 4 stretch, and you'll feel that stretching through the glute area. Or one of my favorite stretches is to lie onto our back, bring your leg across your body and then pull that leg down to really feel a good stretch in that glute area. And I would encourage you to be doing this at least a couple times a day for 30 seconds. The final and not to be forgotten area to be stretching, number 5, is the hip flexors. And I often call these the forgotten muscles because we simply don't know how to stretch these. But if we consider two things, these hip flexor muscles actually attach, they hang on to those lumbar vertebrae, those lower spine. So they're hanging onto your spine. And when we sit in hip flexion, again, particularly if we're sitting too low. A reminder, at the end of this video, there's going to be that video talking you through this chair height that you should have. So if when we're sitting, we're in hip flexion, these muscles can commonly get too tight. And then they're hanging onto our spine. So it's no doubt or no surprise that this can then cause us some lower back dysfunction. So as a result, it's a vital area that you're stretching out. And similar to the glutes, you can do this in standing, where you're looking to place one foot in front of the other and almost go into a part lunge movement while we actually take the chest backwards. You drive that chest backwards, and you should feel that in the back leg, hip, front of hip area. And even my preferred way of doing this stretch is to go down onto one knee. And again, similar movement patterns. We drive that front leg forwards into the lunge position, and we take our chest backwards to really open up that back hip. And again, you should be feeling that pulling right the way through the front of the hip, possibly into the stomach. And that's when you know that that's a good stretch. And so that's it. Nice and simple. These are the 5 key areas that I want you to adopt your stretching program into your daily work habits. And this is to say 30-second holds, 5 stretches. So we're talking about a 5-minute stretching routine. But if you're doing this once in the morning, once in the afternoon, I almost guarantee that you are going to feel better about yourself throughout the working day. And a reminder, what we want to put in place is some of the cues or some of the workstation habits that allow you to support a good working posture. So you'll see this video here where I'm talking through how you should be setting up your workstation to be most helpful, most beneficial for you. I hope that's been helpful. If it has, as I mentioned, hit that like button, subscribe to our channel, and I'll update you on more content. And I look forward to updating you with the next video soon.